In working with teens, three of the things that come from social work that are really relevant for mental health with teens is you have to meet the client where they are. You can't assume that the client knows what you're talking about or that they're at a therapeutic level that's higher than they are. So you really have to figure out where they are, what do they want from therapy, and kind of also to a point what the parents want from therapy. You have to be open to asking questions about words. Teenagers make up words all the time, and words that maybe mean something to you can mean something entirely different to them. Is bougie something that's really good and high class, or is bougie something that's low class and not so good? I have to remember that they're at a place where they want autonomy, but may not be ready yet for the consequences of their actions, and maybe some guiding them a little bit in what actions could happen if to work out those kind of things before them. Challenges of assessing teenagers is half the time they don't want to talk. They're not usually there on their own. Very rarely does the teenager go, I really want to go talk to a stranger. Most of the time they don't. Most of the time they're forced to be there by somebody else. They're often guarded because teenagers get told no and you're wrong a lot. Some of it is reasonable and has to be if you get a wrong answer in math, but they hear that a lot. They get a lot of negative feedback. And so they kind of get guarded around adults. And then you have to worry about what the confidentiality levels are. What do you have to tell the parents? What don't you have to tell the parents? If the kid reveal, like the big ones are always there. If they're going to hurt themselves or someone else, you always tell, of course, every time. But if the child is questioning their sexuality or the child is questioning their religion, how much of that do you have to tell the parents? Because the parents want to know everything. Tell me everything they said. And keeping the confidentiality of the child is really important. Music assessments and methods that have worked for me in the past. Music was really good. We had speakers, and I used my phone to find the clean versions of the songs they were asking for, and then we'd talk about what emotions those songs bring up. What is it in your reality? How does that work? And it helps them to open up. I really like the idea of giving them breathing room, not sitting in the four walls, not sitting in a quote therapeutic environment. If we're good at it, we should be able to do therapy under a tree as well as doing therapy sitting in a room. So giving them the room and not maybe doing it in a clinical feeling setting. And then I really like that idea of having them write out their social media profile on paper. Like if they could recreate all of it again, what would they do? What would they add in? What would they take out? I thought those were all really good suggestions. I've tried some of them. The music therapy worked really well. Having them relate themselves to things that don't make any sense at all. Like if you could be an ice cream topping, what would you be? If you could be a pizza, what would you be? Why do you pick the favorite kind of sandwich? What superpower could you have? All of those seem to work really well in getting them to kind of open up and like when they say, I want to be able to fly through time, it's like, well, why? And then they start opening up about what they really don't want to experience in their world right now. So they'd like to skip time. I found all of those to be really good.